I just feel like if you envision this all happening like Dolores Umbridge came into Hogwarts and just started putting up edicts, it changes the way you look at this whole thing. It's like creating a Patronus. You have to imagine the scariest thing in the most ridiculous manner, and then you can handle it. You can find your light. All right. So it has officially been 2 years since I uploaded my first video on this channel in which I tried out the writing routine of Toni Morrison. So I wanted to take out some time to celebrate and to also make some manifestations or some affirmations for the channel going forward. I can't figure out what the word is, but I will keep thinking about it. There's a lovely seagull on the perch outside and make some, not predictions, but like goals. Set some goals. That's the word I'm looking for. So it's been 2 years. I wanted to reflect and celebrate the 2 years of making videos, documenting my writing journey, provide some updates, and do some goal setting for this very channel and this thing called the traveling bibliophile in this corner of the internet. For those of you who are new here, my name is Dominique, and this is my channel for documenting my writing journey. I have written 4 drafts of a novel, which I will talk about very shortly, and I'm currently working on developing my short story chops. I know there's a lot of new people here, so I just wanted to reintroduce myself, ask you all to like, comment, and for those of you who are just recommended the video, subscribe. It really does help out the algorithm, and I want to get those numbers up. Let's just get right into it. The update on my novel. As you may or may not know, I have completed 4 drafts of a novel. The manuscript had been sent to the agent that I had been working with over the past almost 5 years now. And while she's been so helpful and the feedback has been very helpful, I found myself in a position that I didn't like the way that I responded to every question, every piece of feedback, because it was almost as if I was relinquishing creative control immediately. And I wanted to redevelop that muscle of collaboration. And if I'm going to be working with an agent, working with editors, I don't want to just change my story so quickly because someone immediately says, oh, I don't like this character, or this part doesn't make sense, or, you know, just all of the things that come with feedback. And I've been still sitting with this because now essentially I don't have an agent anymore, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this project after all. I don't feel compelled right now to jump back into it. And also I've been working on another short story idea, but I need to figure out when I get back into the project if I want to do another revision on my own, like read through it again and perhaps change some things based off of how I'm feeling when I'm reading it, or just abandon it altogether. I haven't done the querying process, and I thought about that, and that might be really fun to do as well, just because I think it's essential to being a writer. And I almost feel as if, because of the way I found this agent, if you haven't heard the story, it's because I used to make videos about books that I was reading, and I covered one of the books that she had represented. And when she followed me on social media, she saw that I started to get into writing, and then she asked to see some of my stuff, and then da 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 da. It was a very lucky circumstance for me to say that, yeah, I have an agent for my novel, but I also think that I got a little too comfortable in that luckiness of it all. And I need to backtrack and reapproach finding an agent, finding representation, if that is indeed the path that I want to go. But that's the update on the novel. It's very, very much on the back burner right now, and I'm trying not to think about it too much. But I did write a little bit about it on Substack, and I didn't go into too much detail, but if you do want to read about it, you can follow me over there at the Traveling Bibliophile as well. Seeing as I'm celebrating the 2 years here on AuthorTube, I saw another video of a writer talking about her experience on AuthorTube as well. And it was just really interesting because I write literary fiction. And I happen to think that most of AuthorTube, Author Talk, WriterTube, whatever, this niche space on the internet is very saturated with people that write genre fiction. So it's science fiction, fantasy, YA, or romance. There's a very particular community of writers that exists, and there's an audience for it. And so it's a lot more difficult, I think, or more of a challenge for literary fiction authors and writers to find themselves. But along the way, I am starting to meet people on here. And I'm not complaining whatsoever, but I think that's been something that's a bit uh, more difficult to navigate, because we are all searching for community as writers and trying to connect with other people. So just finding your people is half the battle. Like, the writing part of it is definitely a challenge in itself, but that's something that's so solitary and that you do and you work at it. But when you're looking for that feedback and you're looking for people to connect with, I think that's also as important. So that's one of the goals now, is to really find and build more of a literary fiction community within this video making space and here on the internet, because on Substack there are a lot more literary fiction writers, and there's a lot more community over there. And of course there's all of these other online magazines, but to actually integrate yourself within it and the point of entry is a lot more gatekeeping. And I think that there's such an opportunity for us to have our own community as well here, and to just build each other up, support each other. And yeah, that's something that I'm really looking forward to building over the next year. As you all saw in my last video, which was very experimental, I want to challenge myself with the videos that I make, because I wrote this down last night, but one of my dreams is that this channel provides videos that people will watch when it's like Friday night and they're making dinner, they're home by themselves, and they're just looking for something to have on to keep them company, essentially. And that would be my dream for my content. And I was, making myself dinner and, doing little odd things all around. And I had certain YouTube channels up. And so I just wanted to create more episodic videos that pertain to storytelling and pertain to literary fiction and traveling and all of the things that interest me the most. And hopefully I will find the right audience for that. So that's one of my goals, to start making more content that is catered to that type of audience. It's like people like me, readers and homebodies and bookish people. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Along with the idea of creating episodic content that people will watch when they're, at home making dinner, or I'll be keeping them company at certain times of, their everyday life schedule, I am right now navigating the writing versus the video making, because obviously it takes a lot of time and effort to do either and to do them well. And I definitely have days where, because of my own video editing work as a freelancer, I will start the day with that, and then the rest of the day I'm too exhausted mentally and physically sometimes, but to even think about writing creatively. And now that I'm, putting in a lot of effort onto this channel and onto my Substack, it's about balancing the two. So finding out my perfect routine, my perfect rhythm for getting the words out, and then also spending enough time to work on these videos and to edit them, is also going to be a goal of mine, because I don't want to have burnout again. I feel good about the content that I'm creating and about the work that I'm writing, and I just want to be able to do that in a sustainable manner. So that is something that I hope to be working on. But I know at certain points something's going to give, and I've already pre-forgiven myself for any days that I may miss, whether it's on the video editing side or the writing side, because I just feel so compelled to do both right now that I know I'll get back into it. And yeah, so that's where I am right now for that. Finally, an update on my novelette. I finished the first draft, and yesterday I sent it to my friend who is the first reader of it outside of myself. It was so nerve-wracking, because whenever I send a draft of anything to someone, I'm constantly in my head like, oh, this isn't right. This is what I meant to do. This is how I want it to come across. This is what I want you to feel here. And obviously the point of stories and literature is that what's on the page should do all of those things for you. And at a certain point, in order to get there, you have to start somewhere. And wherever you start, you just have to know in yourself that it's not good, but know that it's going to get better. I definitely need to just get better with this feeling of it not being perfect on the first draft, because as I've now seen with 4 drafts of a novel, every iteration, it gets better and better. And it's just that reading it the first time and you're like, ugh, did I write this? Getting over that and then pushing through to the next draft and the next and the next until it's something that you feel all of the good vibes when you're reading it again. And I think James Baldwin has a quote about this. I'll put it up somewhere, where he just says, like, you write it until it's as good as it gets. Like, it's never going to be perfect, but you won't have any other changes to make at that moment, and you'll know it's time to send it off. So I've made the big milestone step of sending the draft out, and I'm just going to wait for her to send me some feedback, and hopefully we can discuss it, and then I will move on to draft 2 of it. But that is the update on the novelette. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's just a chatty one, but I'll be back next week with another one. And next month, March is almost here, I'm really looking forward to going to 2 new festivals. It's going to be in Sweden and one is going to be in Germany. But let's see. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you'd like. And let's make our wishes for the next 2 years. I hope this is not a... All right. Já cansei de